Hey, real quick, before the video starts, I want to give you all a quick channel update. So if you've ever been around this channel recently, I changed the name from Aiden to Aiden Athletics. And the reason I did this was because I wanted to make this channel a bit more recognizable to the sports talk world and also give it a more college football personality and a vibe. That's why the athletics name is obviously associated with a lot of like college athletic like names. So yeah, just wanted to let y'all know about the name change, and now onto the video. Hello everyone, Aiden here, and welcome back to another episode of Aiden Athletics. In this video, I'm going to be going over my preseason college football playoff bracket for the 2026 season. August is here, and the college football season is less than 3 weeks away as of recording this video, and fans are already getting so juiced to get back in the stadiums, tailgating, and just ready to get back in that fall Saturday feeling. And I'm also excited because I'm going to be moving back to Mizzou in about a week and a half because I don't think I've ever mentioned you all this, but I'm actually part of their marching band, Marching Mizzou. And we pretty much have to go back to Mizzou to sort of get ready for band camp, just to know like the fundamentals on the music, all that stuff to get ready for the football season. And the best part is that I get to experience SEC football in action, meaning I get to go to every single home game in the stands in person. And also, if you have been sort of paying attention to I guess Mizzou football on social media, you're aware of the new end zone that they have, which I am so lucky to finally get to see that during my last year. And yeah, I'm just ready to get things started. So what better way to start off the excitement for the playoff season by giving you my preseason CFP bracket. This will pretty much cover up which teams will make the 12-team field, who are some honorable mentions, and all that stuff. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell, because if you like college football, you've come to the right place. This is my preseason college football playoff predictions for 2026. So before I start this list, I wanted to give out a few warnings. This list is solely based on my thoughts and opinions, and these could be for a variety of reasons. The talent of the team, some of the key players they have, what they're playing for, what are the circumstances, all that stuff, and also the strength of schedule as well. And really, these kind of change from each of the teams and why they might be legit national title contenders. So don't be surprised if you might see a rematch or two on this bracket. So with that out of the way, let's begin. So starting off at number 1, and we're pretty much going to start from number 1 and go all the way down to the bottom 12 spot, which I most likely think is going to be the group of 6 spot. So anyways, number 1, I got a bit of a spicy one. I got Notre Dame. Notre Dame, I think, has all the pieces, or rather the right path to go 12-0. I really think that. They do travel to BYU. They host Miami, and I think they will most likely win those games. And we obviously know from the new rules that the committee said, if Notre Dame is in the top 12, they will automatically be a guaranteed lock to go in the playoffs. So I think the path for Notre Dame is there. I think they might have the easiest path to go 12-0, but regardless, I think that the Fighting Irish are easily my number 1 seed. Next is number 2. I have Texas. Texas, I think, is going to be my pick to win the SEC championship. Obviously, you got Arch Manning, and then the Auburn transfer Cam Coleman, and then all the other pieces they brought back. I think this is the year that Texas will finally make that run to the national title, and they do not have an easy schedule. They don't. However, I do think that Texas will take that number 2 spot and sort of just be like the headline SEC representation of the playoffs. So yeah, Texas at 2. Number 3, I have Oregon, the Oregon Ducks. Oregon, I think, might end up winning the Big Ten this time around again, because they obviously did that a couple years ago, obviously beating Penn State. Oregon probably has all of the pieces to be a legit threat in this playoff. They obviously have, of course, Dante Moore coming back, and then all of the other returning members. There's just so much to name that it's crazy. Yeah, I think this is the year that Dan Lanning probably ignores all of the backlash surrounding him and gets Oregon back to business. Lastly, at number 4, the last team that's going to get a first round bye is Miami. Miami, I think, is the obvious frontrunner in the ACC. They will, I think, win the ACC and give them that automatic bid, which is they haven't won a conference title in, like, I think 20 years, which is crazy to think about. But Mario Cristobal, I think, has Miami back in business. Obviously, you bring in Darian Menson from Duke, and I think that will elevate that Miami offense to a whole nother level. So, again, Notre Dame, Texas, Oregon, and Miami are my four first round bye teams. So now we're going to head into the at large teams. Starting at number 5, I have Georgia, the Georgia Bulldogs. Kirby Smart has just kept that consistent level of just winning and winning and winning. And they've obviously done that by winning back-to-back SEC titles with obviously Gunnar Stockton. So I think Georgia will once again be back in the playoffs for sure. At number 6, now at this point you're probably asking yourself, so now that you got the ACC, Big Ten, and SEC champions, where's the Big 12? Well, the Big 12 is right here, and it's not Texas Tech. I'm going to go out on a limb and say BYU. I think Brigham Young is legit. They are one of the hottest teams in the country. I think Klein Sitake has done an unbelievable job down there in Provo, I think is where it was. And yeah, I just really like BYU. You know, Bear Bachmeyer, LJ Martin. I think, and this is the year they finally punched their ticket to the playoffs. Now, at number 7, I think this is probably going to be another spicy take. I have Ohio State. I think Ohio State has the hardest schedule in the country. They go to Texas, they host Oregon, they host Michigan, they go to Indiana, they go to USC. All of those games are not easy. Not easy at all. But I think Ohio State will remind everybody who they are. Obviously winning the national title a couple of years back. And they have obviously a great team. You know, Julian Sand, Jeremiah Smith, excuse me. But anyways, you know, Ryan Day, you got to give him his flowers. He's done a great job keeping this team just very consistent, and I think that Ohio State will once again be back in the playoffs. Next is number 8, and this is going to be the last team that's going to host a home playoff game, and that's LSU. I think LSU is going to be one of the biggest surprises this year. Obviously, Lane Kiffin coming over from Ole Miss, and then he obviously brought in Sam Levitt from Arizona State. I think that let's just call it like this. I think the Lane train is going to be rolling real good. So much so that they're going to get that home playoff spot for the first time, I think, in program history. And I think Tiger Stadium is going to be absolutely rocking that night. And yeah, it might just be one of the best scenes we might have seen in quite a while for college football. But who are they playing? And that's where my number 9 team is coming in. The team that's going to go to LSU is Indiana, the Indiana Hoosiers. Kurt Ignetti, man. He's just the man, everything. He changed everything down in Bloomington. Obviously, national champions, undefeated season, just everything. However, I think they do have a bit of a tricky schedule. They host Ohio State, they host USC, and they go to Washington and Nebraska. I think they could probably drop one of those games at home and on the road. I think 10-2 is possible, and if so, then that could drop them down to the spot. So I think I'm comfortable putting them at number 9, but don't worry. I will make up for it for later. I'm not going to say why, but you'll see. Anyways, number 10. This is the team that's going to go to Columbus to face the Buckeyes, Ohio State. That's Oklahoma. Oklahoma, I think, is probably going to have one of the biggest years in its program. Obviously, John Mateer. And that defense by Brent Venables is just spectacular. I think they are going to be a legit contender in the SEC. So much so, I think they could probably go to Atlanta and play for the championship, but we'll see what happens. At 11, this is the team that I think is going to go to Provo and face BYU. Give me USC. I am a full believer on USC. Let's go, man. This is the year that Lincoln Riley finally gets USC into the playoffs after being so close so many times. I love USC. I think people don't give this team enough credit for what they have. You bring in Gary Patterson, who is already a Hall of Famer. Like, that's just... what? But I might be going off a bit. Let USC cook. I think they're really cooking something. And we'll see what they show this season. And finally, my number 12 seed. This is pretty much going to go to obviously the mid-major spot. I have Boise State. I think Boise State is going to win the Pac-12 this year. I could see them going 11-1. Obviously, Maddox Madsen, their quarterback, is coming back. Spencer Danielson, I think, has done a great job down there retaining that culture of winning championships. And I think, they're probably going to get the Pac-12 back in the college football playoffs, which I am crossing my fingers that this happens. So those are my teams that I think are going to make the playoffs. So we'll recap this again. Number 1, Notre Dame. Number 2, Texas. Number 3, Oregon. Number 5, Miami. Number 5, Georgia. Number 6, BYU. Number 7, Ohio State. Number 8, LSU. Number 5, Indiana. Number 10, Oklahoma. Number 11, USC. And number 12, Boise State. So if we put this into if you put this in the bracket, number 1, Notre Dame is going to wait for the winner of Indiana at LSU. Number 2, Texas is gonna await the winner of number 10, Oklahoma, and number 7, Ohio State. That's gonna be in Columbus. Number 3, Oregon will face the winner of 11, USC at 6, BYU, and for number 4, Miami, that's gonna be number 12, Boise State at number 5, Georgia. So that is what my first round is going to look like. And we'll go through each of the first round games, and then we'll go into the quarterfinals, then the semifinals, then the national championship. So let's start off with the first game I think will happen. LSU and Indiana. I said before that this is going to be probably one of the best environments in college football. Obviously, Tiger Stadium, most likely going to be a night game down there in the Bayou in Baton Rouge. And they're hosting the reigning national champions, Indiana, which is crazy to think about. But this is why I like the playoffs. You get kind of these obscure matchups that you would never thought would have been possible. And with a matchup like this, I think it's going to be absolutely cinematic. And that's also why I think Indiana will win this game. I think Curt Cignetti will get this team ready to walk into an SEC environment like Tiger Stadium and just shock everybody in that stadium and pull off a win there. Next up, we have Ohio State hosting Oklahoma. This is obviously going to be down in the shoe. The last time these two met in Columbus, I think we obviously know what happened there. Oklahoma won at Ohio State, I think in 2017. Obviously, that led to a Baker Mayfield planting the flag down on the logo, and that probably sparked one of the most iconic moments in modern college football. But with that said, I think Ohio State will pull off a win. Obviously, you got the elite roster they have, obviously being at home with the environment, and I think that the Buckeyes will pull off this win. Next, USC at BYU. The winner of this game will obviously face Oregon, and unfortunately for USC, I am sorry, but I'm going to go with BYU on this one. BYU might have one of the most underrated environments in college football because you just have the mountains in the back, which is honestly like a freaking cheat code there. I think this will finally give the Big 12 its last I think this will give the Big 12 their first playoff win since TCU won in the Fiesta Bowl in 2022. So yeah, BYU will definitely win this game. And then lastly, Boise State is going to go to Georgia. I think Georgia's probably going to win this game most likely. Sorry, Boise State. I mean, who knows? I would at least like to see a game like this somewhat competitive. Maybe, who knows, Maddox Madsen throws like a couple deep balls to get them in the game, kind of like late or maybe early, but who knows? I think Georgia will go ahead and win this game. So now let's move on to the quarterfinals, and during this, I'm gonna let you all know what New Year's Six bowl games these are gonna be, and what the matchups could look like. So first of my quarterfinals, I have number 1 Notre Dame versus number 5 Indiana. This is going to be at the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all. Obviously, the last time these two met was down in South Bend in the very first game of the 12-team playoffs. Notre Dame won that game 24-17, I think. Maybe. I could be wrong, but I don't know. But anyways, number 1 Notre Dame, I think, will pull off a win here. I think that CJ Carr might just be a little bit of a better quarterback than Josh Hoover, and I think that the Irish will pull off this win. Next, we have number 2 Texas against number 7 Ohio State, and this is going to be at the Fiesta Bowl down in the desert. Obviously, these two actually played in the Fiesta Bowl in 2009. I think Texas won that game, but I think this might be one of the best games of the playoffs for sure. I hope this isn't controversial if I say this, but I got Texas winning this game, mainly because that they might have the better team like on paper against Ohio State. These two are kind of like equals pretty much. Like you got like a really good quarterback, a star wide receiver, and then an all-around just a great staff. But in the end, Texas will win this game. Next up, we have number 3 Oregon against number 6 BYU. This is going to be down in Jerry World, down at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic in Arlington. Oregon and BYU squaring off in AT&T Stadium might be a very, very cool place to be at, obviously. I know that Oregon has a bit of a history of losing games in AT&T Stadium. I know they lost in the first national championship of the CFP to Ohio State. And they also lost a game here to Auburn in like some kickoff game. And that was actually Bo Nix's first game, but that's a bit off topic. Anyways, BYU, I think, will show up in this game, give Oregon a fight, but I think in the end, the Ducks will win this game. So give me Oregon in the Cotton Bowl. And lastly, number 4 Miami against number 5 Georgia at the Peach Bowl. This will obviously be in Atlanta, so I think these two teams will certainly travel pretty well for this game, but I know that place is going to be jam-packed with Georgia fans, and I think Miami fans will travel as well. But I like Georgia in this game. I think the Dogs are pretty much on a mission to get back to greatness, winning national titles once again. So yeah, in the end, Georgia will pull off this win. Now that we got the quarterfinals out of the way, let's head on to the semifinals. The remaining 4, the final 4. Starting off with the first game, we have number 1 Notre Dame against number 5 Georgia. This is going to be the Capital One Orange Bowl down in Miami. And these were two teams that have faced each other before, obviously, in the Sugar Bowl in the 2024 season. Notre Dame won that game. And I think Marcus Freeman and Kirby Smart respect each other so much that I think there's a possibility that there could be a round 2. But in this matchup, give me Georgia to punch their ticket to the national championship, which leaves us with the second semifinal game. Number 2 Texas, number 1 Oregon in the All-State Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. I have wanted to see these two teams face each other for so long. I feel like it must be fate to see these two on the big stage, and I think this is the year that we finally see it happen. These are two teams that are obviously just desperate to finally reach the promised land for many years. And this will be such a compelling matchup as well. But in the end, give me Texas to win this game. That place is going to be mostly packed with Longhorn fans, and I think we are due for a Texas showcase in the national championship. And now we have the national championship. Number 5 Georgia against number 5 Texas. This is probably going to be a round 2 because I believe that these two teams will be locks to be in the SEC championship. And we will most likely see these two face off again. And I think it's going to be here. Las Vegas, Allegiant Stadium, Georgia and Texas, Kirby Smart and Steve Sarkisian, Gunnar Stockton, Arch Manning. Round 2. Who do I think will win it? Hook 'em, baby. Texas beats Georgia and wins the national championship. I love this Texas team. I think this is a legit threat in the country. I think this is a team that will push through the schedule and all the challenges that they will face from Ohio State twice, because they got the preseason and the Fiesta Bowl, facing Oregon, the eventual Big Ten champions, who I think, me personally, and then beating Georgia, Kirby Smart, like, it's possible. And with this bracket, like, hell yeah. I would love that so much. Like, I'm not a Texas homer. That's just what I think could happen. So yeah, I think I'm going to lock it in. Texas is my pick to win the national championship. And that is my preseason playoff predictions. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know some people might not like the playoffs because of the expansion and the bias all around it, but I think these matchups that we get here, like obviously Texas and Oregon, Notre Dame and Indiana, a Georgia Texas rematch, you get these compelling stories, and it's all just the culmination of just weeks and months of just playing. All of it's culminating in such a free for all to win a national championship. And I cannot wait to see what this playoff has in store, and I hope that you do too. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to be on the lookout for more videos. And yeah, once again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time on Aiden Athletics. Bye.